Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Dee. I'm the owner, designer, and creator for DJ Designs. Today I am going to show you my finally long-awaited video on how to do sublimated fabrics using your own designs on wood and cut with your laser. These are the items you're going to need. You're going to need some Alene's tacky glue. This is what I use. You're going to need some resin. I used a 2-part resin because I like the results of the 2-part resin. You can use UV if you like. You're going to need gloves. You're going to need a mask. You're going to need some fusible interfacing. You're going to need some wood, and I use 1/4 inch basswood. And basically that is it for now. Also, you're going to have a sublimation printer and a heat press. And what you're looking at is a previous video I had done. I had previously printed this fabric on my F570 sublimation printer. And as you can see, the designs are very vivid. I did get these designs from the internet, and be careful for any copyright information. As you can see how nice and colorful this looks. It looks very nice. I'm very pleased with the results of this sublimation on polyester. Okay, I'm back and I've cut my fabric in squares. And I also cut a piece of fusible interfacing that's going to be the size of the squares that I cut. And I'm going to use an iron to adhere this to the fabric. These fabrics I did get from the internet. There's also a website called repper.com, repper.com. And I'll put a link in the description. You can design your own fabric, which I think is awesome. And I was able to design my fabric, and I'll show y'all at the end of the fabric that I designed myself and made a pair of earrings. Okay, I am back. I did adhere the fusible interfacing to the back of the fabric. And I did trim it a little bit. I used a rotary cutter to trim it. And now we're going to adhere the fabric to the wood. And I'll do one piece at a time. Make sure you spread it even and don't put a whole lot of glue. You don't want it to seep through. The purpose of putting the interfacing on the back, it stiffens the fabric and prevents any glue from leaking through. So I've experimented without it on this type of fabric because it's so thin, but this method does work best for me. Okay, just smooth it as best as you can, and we're going to do the other side. I'm only going to work with 2 fabrics just to show you, to get the gist of how this is done. And try to get that glue smoothed out as best as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just do it as best as you can. And okay. All right, we're going to let this dry maybe about 30 minutes. And then we're going to send it to the cutter. All right, let's see how this turned out. Ooh, no burn marks. And I used the X2 M1. Very pleased with this. It's my first laser cutter. Ooh, nice. With your own fabric. Wow. Like this. All right. use the top part of the earring. And I usually make more than one, so I'll have some ready. This is a very popular style that I use for this particular earring. It came out nice, falls right out, like my M1. Okay, this is all dry and ready for the other part of the earring. And this is the gel stain that I get from Hobby Lobby. It works really well. It lasts a long time. It's only $1.99. Okay, let's get started with the resin. And the resin I use is a two-part resin. I like the brand Let's Resin, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to know which one I'm using. But I also mix it in a silicone cup because it's easy to rinse out. And I use 2 droppers, and it makes it go a little quicker because when I'm working on one, the other one is filling. So you'll see what I mean with this process. All right, let's get started with the resin. And this is optional. You don't have to put the epoxy if you don't want to, but I like the look. It looks very nice. I'll just do a couple just to give you an idea of how I do it. I like to dome it, and what that means is you flood it just to the point that it doesn't flow over the earring. And it takes a lot of practice. I did this a couple times before I got the hang of it, but if you can get that, and be careful going around the holes, make sure you don't get any in the holes. It does take practice. And I could say I have mastered it, but it does take practice. And the results are beautiful. So I'm just going to do a couple just to show you, to get a gist of it. Okay. If you see how I'm going to the edge but not flowing over the edge, hopefully you can see that good. And I like to turn it around. It gives me a better angle. Gives me a nice angle. As you can see, that's flooded. And you could tell on the edge that it looked like it's just about to spill over, but it's not. So I'll do one more to show you. This is one of my best sellers, and I really like the results of the resin, but like I said, it is optional. You don't have to do it. And this resin does have to dry at least 24 hours before you put the hardware on. But I have done some ahead of time so that I can show you the results, how it looks. So I'll just finish this one up. Move that over. Being real careful not to go in the hole. Like I said, that just takes a little practice, but once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't be a problem. Just like that, if you can see. I don't know if you can see, but just go to the edge just before it flows over. Make sure it doesn't flow over. And I really like this Let's Resin. That gives it, I've evaluated a couple of other resins, but the results with the Let's Resin is definitely the best one I've used. Okay, this will conclude my tutorial on how to sublimate your own designs on fabric to make laser cut wood earrings. And these are some of the earrings that I did do with the resin. As you can see, it has a nice look, a nice sheen. I really like the results. And this is another pair that I've done. This is done with fabric that I designed at repper.com. And I'll put a link in the description. You can design your own fabric as well. This is a pair of earrings that I did with a dress that I found from Goodwill, actually. You're not limited to the designs that you find on the internet. You could use your own fabric. Certainly you can use your own fabric, but this was from a dress that I found in Goodwill. And it was a big dress. I'm sure I probably can get about 50 pairs of earrings out of it. And you're not limited to designs that you sublimate. You can also use fabric that you have on hand. And I did not do the resin on this one, but it still has a very nice look. The fabric that you use on your own, if it's thick enough, you can skip the step with the Fusible Iron-On Interfacing. And this is another pair that I got the fabric from the internet. And I did not, yes, I did use the interfacing, Fusible Interfacing for this one, but I didn't put the resin. This is another pair similar to the ones that I did, and I also put the gold accent. This is another pair that I did with the fabric that I sublimated on wood. And this is denim, and you don't need to use the Fusible Interfacing for that. And this is also denim, recycled denim as well. I did paint this before I laser cut it, but you're not limited to the sublimated fabric. You can use your own fabric and use the same method, and you probably can skip the step with the Fusible Interfacing. Okay, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. It helps me to do more of these tutorials. If you have suggestions or what else you'd like to see, please let me know that as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.